I know it's Bucks mandatory minicamp, but we mandatorily have to talk about the Rays first because somehow they escaped Boston in their first game of this series with a 10-day win, extras, 11 innings.
Talk about trying to lose a game, much like Saturday, which they did lose in extra innings. But
no. They had a 2 or 3 run lead in this game about 4 times, and they kept giving it back up. Very fortunate to still push it into 11 innings. But the story of the night, man, Ian Seymour, a kid that they literally had to bring up because, well, they were out of pitchers and needed someone to help them with their exhausted bullpen. He came in and pitched not 1 but 2 innings. Could have got probably the win earlier, but they had an error by Jonathan Aranda at first base.
It should have had 2 errors. Aranda had 2 errors on the play.
That's right. He booted it and then he threw it away.
And then he missed through it.
Yeah, exactly. So 2 errors on the same play. Would have been the third out, would have been the game. He hangs in there, making his major league debut, and comes in and pitches a second inning and gets his first major league win. What a great night for that kid.
Absolutely it was. And the Rays keep winning, keep on their winning ways. Just 4 games back of the Yankees now.
I'm telling you, man.
In a wild card spot.
Yeah.
You know, and they'll have a couple more against the Yankees. And then I misspoke yesterday in the podcast. They're playing the Mets this weekend in New York, not the Yankees.
The Yankees.
Got ahead of myself.
That's okay.
Yeah. But
it's still got
the Mets this weekend. Yep.
Yeah. They got signs up. Welcome to the show, Ian Seymour. That's so good. I'm sure his family.
Yeah, he grew up about 30 miles from there.
Oh, wow.
Like, that's the other part of this, is that he's from, Massachusetts or
Can you imagine making your major league debut when you're from that part in Fenway Park? Are you kidding me? How many times as a kid did he go there and root for the Sox?
He said he got to walk the field, I think one of the Little League games where he's like 10.
Yeah.
And kicked up some dirt and put it in a little baggie and has it, like, from the warning track from when he was 10 years old. Like, I mean, that's just incredible stuff.
And what I think is his dad, or so it appears to be, is he's wearing a Durham Bulls hat. Didn't have time to get the Rays one just yet.
Yeah. Well, some of the other friends and family there are wearing Red Sox hats and Rays shirts. So
yeah, they are. That's a great story, man. Just made to order. Even Mark Topkin doesn't have to work hard for that one up there in Boston. He just.
But like you said, the best part is he should have had the save in the 10th.
Yeah.
Aranda commits 2 errors on the play.
2 errors. Mm-hmm.
And then they get the tying run in. And then at that point, they had the winning run on third. He gets out of that inning, and it comes back out for the 11th and gets the win. So that's tremendous.
Several runners on base when he gets the punch out. And, yeah, it's great. It was a big win for them, and because they tried to give it away several times, and they managed. It's hard with the rules with that ghost runner or whatever they want to call it at second base in extra innings. If you're not the home team, it's very difficult to win in extras, I think.
Well, if you need to put up a crooked number.
Yes.
Like, if you just get the guy from second home, the home team has a big advantage.
That's right.
If you can get that crooked number and make at least whoever's at the plate have to score to tie, if not more, then it becomes, the pressure's on the visiting team just to get more than 1 run in.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
In the 10th inning, the Rays got 1 in. The Red Sox got it back, but thanks to the error.
Yeah.
In the 11th, the Rays scored 2, which then the Red Sox couldn't overcome.
Right. And, when they first did it, everybody was kind of like navigating their way through it, saying, well, okay, do we bunt with a runner on second base and nobody out, just to try to get him in scoring position with less than 2 out? And a lot of teams were, starting to just play for 1. Then they realized, you're gonna need a couple, more often than not.
If you're the home team and it's tied or whatever, or you're just down a run, maybe you bunt to get that over to get that run in. But, But the visiting team, I don't think you do unless you got a really good bunter up.
Yeah, you got to play for a big inning. You got to play for, like you said, a crooked number if you can get it.
And how about Caballero stealing bases again tonight? He's back to the American League lead.
Yeah, that dude. You know what? He's very aggressive, but he's smart. You don't see him take chances that don't make a lot of sense. But boy, he can run the bases. And Cash said the other day, he says he's definitely our most aggressive base runner. There's no doubt about it. But he doesn't do stupid stuff.
Mm-hmm. He takes advantage of what the defense gives him.
Yeah.
If they're off, he's going to take a bigger lead. If he can get a running start like he did tonight going to third, pitcher wasn't paying attention. He got a running start heading to third and stole third.
Yeah. I mean, his percentage is really high. He knows how to run bases. He knows how to get in there safely, and that puts him in position. The other night he did it, and I think the sac fly that Josh that Brandon Lau hit was about 260 feet. That was it. And it was enough to score him. So, getting to third with less than 2 outs is a big deal for sure. But we do have Buccaneer football to talk about. Down to the last 3 days of the offseason. It'll start today with their mandatory minicamp workout. We have a chance to talk, and we haven't talked to him very much in the offseason, a chance to talk to Baker Mayfield later today, which will be fun, just to see what's up with Bake, how he's getting along with the new offense, and, Josh Grizzard and all that.
How's he like his new toy, Emeka Egbuka?
Oh, and how. I'm telling you, I'm going to keep saying it until he proves me wrong. I'll tell you what, man, this Emeka Egbuka kid can flat out play. And, not for nothing. And there was a story, I think on The Athletic, that was written about Chris Godwin. Not a lot of breaking news there. It was a good story from my good friend Dan Pompey, but and sort of what Godwin went through.
Oh, some of the injury, you didn't realize how bad it was.
Well, he fractured a bone in his ankle, or in his leg, actually, and then he had the ankle turned backwards, which means you tore up all kinds of ligaments and things like that. What got me was, here's a guy that had 3 torn knee ligaments. Now think about this: 3 torn knee ligaments. We all saw that play against the Saints. The safety went low, bent his knee practically backwards, right? And we know how awful and grotesque that looked and how painful it was. Well, this in many ways looked worse. And in fact, according to Godwin, it was way worse from a pain standpoint. He's not one to take pain medication. He just really doesn't believe in it that much, especially the opioids or whatever. He said he was heavily medicated for at least 2 or 3 days afterwards. That was just brutal. But off his feet, and you just take it in steps. You go from recovering from the actual operation, which is a lot, to not being able to put any weight on the leg for a long time. And, he says, just moving my toes, like one day I could wiggle my toes and then I could move my ankle up and down and stuff like that. It's like, Chris always celebrates the little improvements each day. Now we're going to see him, I think, out there. He is not going to practice in the true sense of the word. I tend to think this is going to be a longer injury, maybe than some are anticipating. I have nothing to go on. Well, I might have something to go on, but I don't. It's not like he's going to miss the season. Is there a chance he comes back? By the regular season opener, I do think there is. He did it when he tore 3 knee ligaments, and that was much later in the season. That was in December. This injury came, I think, at the end of October, or after week 7. So, I mean, yeah, if you did the math and the kind of injury he sustained, there is a reasonable chance he could be ready, by September 8th or whenever the first game is.
But the good thing is that with drafting Egbuka,
yeah,
and seeing how McMillan played at the end of last season, and then Mike Evans, if there's any hesitation about Chris Godwin,
don't put him out there.
You don't have to start him.
No, you don't have to put him out there, and I think that's such a luxury for them. And Egbuka is Chris Godwin 2.0. I mean, he for all intents and purposes, from his temperament to his skill sets, he is a quintessential slot receiver that can slide right in there and play really well. And so you have that luxury now that you haven't had in the past. I mean, if we're talking about, Trey Palmer coming in there, I mean, you might be like, okay, we're giving up something. But Egbuka, you're not going to lose much, especially a healthy one. And so for that reason, I don't see them rushing him back. Now, we'll get to see how he looks, right? Like, is he doing anything? Is he jogging? Is he on the rubber bands? Is he, standing around? Like, how does he walk? Is there a gait at all that's different? We'll at least be able to put our eyes on him, I think, today, and that'll be good. But, yeah, he just he went through a lot with this injury. And of course, we know his decision. We wrote about it at the time to stay in Tampa rather than take what was $30 million a year he was being offered by the New England Patriots. I'd say they wanted him really, really bad, and that's with the injury.
Yeah, no question. And New England had a lot of cash to spend.
They did. They had the most.
And new coach, and so they're trying to make a splash and upgrade quickly. or quicker.
Yeah, but him and Mariah left generational money on the table. I mean, a lot of money. But they, they've been together since high school. She is the daughter of his high school coach, and they kept it secret for a little while until they, revealed they had been dating and whatever. And they've been together since then. And to them, where they live is more important than how much money they have. And they made a lot of money. But still, you're giving up $8 million a year over, per year for 3 years. That's an extra 24 large, man. That's a lot of money to kind of spit on. But for Chris, it wasn't hard. Him and it was a group decision. Him and Mariah liked where they were. They liked where they lived. They liked the organization. I'm sure he'd like to retire here, like Mike would like to. So I think the Bucs are fortunate that way. But they did cover themselves, and that's sort of what this camp is going to be like. Sort of, watching the offense go against the defense. It won't look much different than OTAs, quite frankly. And there's no fans there, so we'll have to tell you what's happening. But you will see some veterans like we mentioned, Hassan Reddick, and some of the other guys coming in there. That
wait. Is Hassan going to be there?
Well, he is. In fact, he is here. He is in Tampa on Monday night, probably Monday afternoon, maybe Sunday night. I really don't know when he arrived. But they do this thing every year where there's a lot of commercial sponsors and whatnot, obviously for the Bucs, and for various ads and other materials, they use pictures of players, and so the players, a select group of players, are in full uniform, and they kind of herd them through. I think they use the indoor facility now. I'm not exactly sure, but any regret set, they set up some tents, and it's kind of a cattle call. And these guys have to wear multiple uniforms, including the creamsicles. So it's a long day for them taking on uniforms and putting them back on and stuff. But you get a lot of, photographs that can be used for various pieces and whatnot. And Hassan Reddick was in uniform, number 5, and was smiling and looked great. And I posted a video of him the other day working with his trainer, Kenny Williams, at his Reds camp in Philadelphia. And he was busting it, sweating a lot, looked to be in tremendous shape. And the Bucs have been getting those reports, right? Not directly, but like through Larry Foote is a guy that's in touch with Hassan and coached him in Arizona. He's going to be his position coach here. So
but are we sure he's not doing the Gronk method of working out and just changing outfits in one day, sweating and sending photos and videos in?
That was awesome. That was during COVID when they had to do that, remember?
Yeah, they had to send videos of them working out and stuff, so he just did it all in one day and just kept changing shirts.
He just changed his shirt and and take 3 shirts on, 3 shirts off, and call it a week. Gronk was hilarious, man. That dude, for a guy that retired, and when I just to finish the thought about Gronk, like he retired, and then Tom comes and decides to play in Tampa, and then Tom calls him, and they meet in Brooklyn at actually where the Nets play. And Tom's like, yeah, let's go up there and throw a little bit. I need to throw a little bit. And so he got him up there, and he knew if he could get him up there catching a few footballs, he could probably talk him into coming and playing. And of course, Gronk would, I only do it for you, Tommy. He wouldn't come out of retirement for anybody else. And so I talked to Gronk's dad. I did the story on growing up Gronkowski, and all those brothers, all of Rob's brothers, and they're all sons. I think there's 5 boys in the family, and they all were professional athletes. If it wasn't baseball, it was football. They grew up playing every sport. But yeah, I think, Gronk was such a character, but his own family, because he was weighing whether he should play or not, and his own family told him no. Like he goes, we took a vote and we decided he shouldn't go play. It's like, well, didn't count because he's going to play anyway. But talk about a beat up guy.
Tommy has a majority of that vote. So,
exactly.
While the family voted, they owned 49% of the voting stake. Tom had the other 51%.
And that's what his dad said. His dad said, "Look, if it was anybody but Tommy, because Brady asked, he couldn't say no." And the rest is history. Caught 2 tutties, baby, in the Super Bowl and all that, and had just an unbelievable year. But got pretty beat up in the process and. After that, there wasn't much left in his game, but he was absolute stud. So, I mean, I think Reddick seems to be in shape. He'll be there. We'll see what Godwin can do, if anything. As far as like the other stuff, there's camp battles that we've talked about. I think mostly at defensive back, where they drafted, Morrison and Parrish, and those guys are going to get a really good look, a really good look, because both of them are good players. I think Benjamin Morrison would have been a first round pick if not for the hip injury. He's been cleared to go 11 on 11, was making plays out there on Ibuka the other day, and the guy can absolutely find the ball. The ball finds him. He's in good position all the time. So he's going to push Jamel Dean. Jamel Dean's going to have a great offseason if he hasn't already. And when he comes to training camp, he's going to find that competition. He's going to find Jacob Parrish, who, even though he's a smaller guy and built more for the slot, Todd Bowles says, don't be fooled. This guy can play outside. He could start in the NFL as an outside corner. So he's going to get a run. And then you got your nickel guys, whether that's Christian Izien. We'll see what they do with Tyke Smith. Looks like he's moving to safety, but nobody's committed to anything right now. I mean, that's sort of what OTAs are about. And then when you get to training camp, then you'll see some real battles, and the receiver, obviously, we've talked about that a bunch, that, that fifth receiver, there's going to be a lot to choose from, right? And whether it's Palmer or Kim Jarrett or, Sterling Shepard, I think the guy to watch, though, is Tez Johnson, because he's electric. Now, he's only, all of 155 pounds, I think. But he's can flat out make people miss, and he's a small man's Bucky Irving in that sense, and a former teammate of Bucky's as well. So he'll be somebody to watch. So it's going to be fun. Again, not much different than OTAs, except everybody's there, the veterans are there, and you get to see the whole thing kind of come together for a couple of days. And like I said, we'll talk to Baker Mayfield later today and get his thoughts on the season and what he's been working on, and just sort of what his relationship is so far with Josh Grizzard, because that's going to tell the tale, is how fast, Grizz can get up on understanding his players. And the good thing is he was here last year. They didn't have to change the system. They don't have new verbiage. They can pick up where they left off and just kind of move forward. So good reports out there overall about where things stands with the Bucs. Now we're going to see them for 3 days or 2.5 days, and it'll be the last time. The next time we see them, it's training camp, baby. It's go time, and you're getting ready to go to Pittsburgh and have a joint practice with the Steelers and come home and have one with the Titans and so on. And then the opener at Atlanta. What a game that'll be, and how important will that game be for the Bucs and the Falcons going in there and starting right off the bat, which I think Atlanta is going to be their closest rival this year. You never underestimate the other guys. Obviously, Carolina could make a leap with Bryce Young, and we'll see what the Saints do with Kellen Moore as their new coach. But I think it's going to be mostly a 2-team race, and it starts week 1, which is great. It's going to be fun. Hey, I'll talk about a little quarterback rankings that are out there in just a minute. But first, we want you guys to rank the watches at Breitling Boutique. That's right. They're in International Plaza Mall. If you haven't been there, what's taking you so long? The Breitling Company's been in business now for 140 years. They make the best Switch watches you can find. If you want a great timepiece, go to International Plaza Mall. They've been there for the last 5+ years. You go to the center of the mall, go upstairs, and I'm telling you, the customer service, second to none. They're used to dealing with a lot of professional athletes. You might see a Buccaneer or two in there, but believe me, they're going to treat you just like the superstar that you are as well. They're going to teach you about all the products they have and match up your needs with just a great timepiece. And, they have the men's watches, the Chronomats, the Navitimers, and watches for your wife, for your girlfriend. These are sports watches. They're durable. If your wife or girlfriend is on the move like mine is, she needs something that she can bang around a little bit with the kids in the car and all that, but it's going to look absolutely stunning, and all different kinds of colored wristbands for her to choose from as well. And right now, for the men's watches, they have the NFL collection, and they're celebrating the NFL's 104th year anniversary, and they're doing that. All 32 teams, they all have a team watch, and these are Chronomat watches with the face of the watch is the team color, of course, and then the logo is on there as well. You go to TampaBay.com, Tampa Bay times you'll see an ad, most likely with the Buccaneers team watch. Now, these are while supplies last, so I can't tell you how many are left for each team. But if you're an NFL fan, this is a must-have sort of item. It's Breitling Boutique, International Plaza Mall. Make sure you let them know that you heard about it right here on Sports Day Tampa Bay. So our buddy Chris Sims, and I say our buddy because, well, that's what we are. We roll like that, man. You see him on Sunday Night Football and Pro Football Talk with Mike Florio. He likes to talk quarterbacks because he was one. Of course, his dad was a Super Bowl winning quarterback, Phil Sims. But he comes out with his rankings every year. And right now he has ranked, I haven't seen the top 4 yet. You can imagine we can guess on those.
I could tell you the top 4. I don't know.
I think I could too, but Mahomes is 1, right?
Mahomes, Lamar, Allen, Burrow.
Yeah. I would say, and I haven't seen the list because he hasn't put it out yet for the top 4. I would say that he's going to have Josh Allen as number 2. And I think he'd have maybe Burrow 3 or Lamar 3 and Burrow 4, but somewhere in there. But I think he'll have Allen.
You think he still has Mahomes 1, even after last season?
Yes, he'll have Mahomes 1.
Okay.
I don't have any question that. Now, could be wrong. We look forward to seeing the rest of his submissions, but he did do number 5 through 10. Now, we can do this several ways. I can say, do you think Baker Mayfield made the top 10? And if so, where? Or how about you just try to name the final 5 in the top 10 in
the final 6
Chris
there?
Sims. Yeah, the final 6. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
I say Baker will make it. My guess is he's number 10.
Okay. You would be half right, but yeah.
Okay. Well, if I'm half right, that means he made it.
He did
not
make
number
it.
10.
Yeah, he's better
10. Than number 10.
He's somewhere between 5 and 10.
All right. Well, let me figure out who the other quarterbacks would be.
Okay.
Well, let's go with the Super Bowl champ Jalen Hurts.
He is on there. He is number 10. Last year, his 2024 ranking was 9, so he falls a spot on Chris Sims' list, although Super Bowl winning quarterback Jalen Hurts now, who's been to 2 of them and has won 1.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I got Hurts.
Mm-hmm.
How about Matt Stafford?
Matthew Stafford, good choice. He is number 6 with the Los Angeles Rams, down 1 spot in Chris's rankings from number 5. So got his team to the postseason, came so close to a game-winning drive to get him into the championship game, couldn't do it. But yeah, Matthew Stafford still very, very relevant at number 6.
All right, so I got Stafford, I got Hurts, Baker's in there somewhere.
Yep.
Let's go. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to be in there.
No Aaron Rodgers in this list.
Okay.
No, not yet.
I was correct there. What about C.J. Stroud?
C.J. Stroud is part of the list. C.J. Stroud is flatlining. He was number 7 last year. He is number 7 again. And I like C.J. Stroud, not just for his last name, but I don't know what to make of him just yet. Like, rookie year, off the charts, did some unbelievable things. Last year, they had some offensive line issues. He didn't play as well.
Got some injury issues on the offense, too.
Yeah, they've had some injuries at receiver and different things. But, like, I don't know, for example, and, well, you haven't mentioned this guy yet, but, you know, like when I watched Jaden Daniels last year, I got a feeling that he was better than C.J. Stroud is right now. Now, I don't know why that is, because C.J. Stroud was Rookie of the Year, wasn't he? And had a great year with the Texans and beat these guys, came from behind, all that. So CJ's definitely ranked, but he's at number 7.
Okay,
and he stays at 7 from last year.
I don't think Daniels is a top 10 quarterback yet, but based on what you said, is he on Chris's list?
He is on Chris's list, and he comes in at number 5. Now, last year, 5. Yeah, that's high, man. That's a lot of pressure on that kid after just one season. He did get him to the NFC Championship game, though. Don't forget that.
I think he's going to be the best quarterback in that class.
Mm-hmm,
I think I would have told you that before the draft.
Yeah, before Kalen Williams went number 1. Well, I could have told you whoever the Bears take. Yeah, he won't be the guy. He never is. This is interesting. When he came out into the draft, before he played a game in 2024. His ranking by Chris Sims was 28. Woo! Swing and a miss. He was not a Jaden Daniels fan at all, apparently. And Daniels completely changed his mind. So there's one more. Well, we mentioned Baker, but there's one more.
Well, there could be a few quarterbacks. So let me go through.
So we got Daniels 5.
What about Jared Goff?
Goff is surprisingly not in the top in 5 through 10. I wonder if he's in the 1 through 4. I almost think he has to be.
Well, which one of those other 4 that we named at the beginning are you not putting 1 through 4? Are you not putting Lamar in the top 4? Because,
well, here's the thing: if he's not in the top 4, he's going to be not in the top 10 because we have the list in front of us.
Right.
And I'll tell you, Lamar is not one of the top 5 through 10.
I mean, if Goff misses, he's 11. Like he's
yeah. You're right. He's going to come up pretty quick here. Yeah, he may not be top 5 or top 4. I can see that. I mean, you got to have Mahomes, right? You got to have Josh Allen,
right? I mean,
that's half of it right there. So
yeah, and Burrow is.
I think Burrow's right there.
Most people consider him the best pocket quarterback. In the NFL.
Sure, when you can protect him. So yeah, I'll give you those are the big 3, and then there's only 1 or 2 more.
So. It's not going to be a Trevor Lawrence. It's not going to be Caleb Williams. Not going to be Sam Darnold. I don't think it's Brock Purdy.
No.
Even though he got the big contract now. It's not going to be – I don't think it's Dak Prescott.
No, it's not Dak. And surprisingly, like when you mentioned Purdy, like I wonder if he's in the top 4 for these guys. I don't think he would be. But, I mean, we know half of them, right, with Mahomes and Allen for sure, and maybe – Joe Burrow, I think, deserves it. So those are the top 3. So I don't know.
Does he have Shedeur Sanders at the top 10 yet?
No.
Okay.
He does have him in the top 5 of the Cleveland Browns, however.
Oh, well.
They got their own top 10 going on out there. I don't know what the hell that is. But
let's see. What other quarterbacks? Who am I? I've got to be missing some. I mean, not Bo Nix, is it?
No, not that. Up there a little further west than that.
Although
Bo Nix, Bo Nix, I would think that Chris Sims likes us a lot. But not enough to put him in his top 10. Strangely.
I think Bo Nix is one of those. Not yet.
Not yet, but I bet you after next year, everybody's going to be on him.
Yeah. I don't think it's Kyler Murray.
No, not Kyler.
Who am I missing? It's not.
You're in the general geographical area. You're going the right direction.
Not Geno Smith.
No.
Well, it's got to be Justin Herbert.
It's Justin Herbert. Yeah.
Okay.
Number 8.
Yep.
With your boy, Jim Harbaugh. And so here's 5. Here's 5 through 8 through 10.
It's not J.J. McCarthy yet.
No. 5 is Jaden Daniels. 6 is Matthew Stafford. 7 C.J. Stroud. 8 is Justin Herbert. We mentioned Jalen Hurts was 10, which must leave one Baker Mayfield, ranked number 9 by Chris Sims in the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL. And a year ago, Sims had him at a respectable number 15 after 1 year in Tampa. Look, I think you could put Mayfield anywhere in this list. And
I think 9's fair. I mean, you could say 7 or
he's had 2 really good years here, and then
or 10 and 11. But I mean, 9 is fair. I mean, like I said, you can argue should be 6, 7, 8, 10. Like I mean, that range.
I
think that's fair.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, I think that the top 4 is the top 4. I think they're the best quarterbacks in the league.
I think that's easy once you get there.
And then once you start getting to 5 on down, I don't know if I'd put Jaden Daniels 5th yet.
That seems quick to me. Yeah.
I think he's potential. Yes, absolutely.
Yep. No, he's phenomenal.
I think after 1 year, you got to go, wait a minute, let's see what he can, because now the defenses are going to adjust to him. Like it takes NFL defenses really within a season, but when you get a guy like that takes a team and changes it like that, it takes them 1 year to go figure out, okay, here's what we need to do to stop you. Now you got to make an adjustment back.
I thought it was interesting, I'll screw this up. I think it might have been Matt Matera. Somebody made the point, and I almost buy into it a little bit. Like the last couple years with 2 different offensive coordinators, the Bucs started 3-1, and then they hit the skids. Now, there's a lot of reasons. You go back and look at the games. Defense plays bad here, different things. But one thing that's kind of a constant when you think about it is the Bucs change coordinators every year. And the point was made that, like, look, maybe it just takes a month for enough film to be on these guys for other teams to figure out what the hell they're doing. Like, they have an advantage because while it's a disadvantage for them, they're having to install new offenses and in many cases learn new terminology and, you know, new play caller and the whole bit. But on the other hand, they're learning. Nobody knows what they're going to do until they do it, and it might take that long and enough film for teams to catch on and start to combat it. So
look, I mean, teams scout offensive coordinators, like how you
Sure
call
they do.
plays and what you call
Sure
in
they
this
do.
situation. When you have a new coordinator who's never called plays before, how do you scout that? And it's going to be the
well,
same.
you're
for
a
the Bucs this
Michigan
year.
fan. You know how that works.
Yeah, well, you steal the signs and you put someone in the stands at the 50-yard line taking videos and
Yeah,
allegedly.
right.
The Bucs are going to have that advantage this year with Grizzard. Like, no one is going to know how
no one knows how he calls it because
you know
he's
what
never
they did
called
last
it.
year, and he was a part of the offense last year, so there may be some tendencies of what you think will
Yeah, I mean,
happen.
schematically, you know what they are, and you probably know that, Bucky Irving's a good inside runner, and sometimes they go to the pistol with two backs, and you know the formations, but you don't know how he's going to call it because, frankly, he's never called it. Now,
Right.
what we've noticed about him, which will be something to watch during these mini camps when they go up against the defense, is that Grizzard, at least now in the offseason, and sometimes you do stuff in the offseason that you're just looking at, right? But Grizzard seems to be consistently pushing the ball down the field more in the passing game.
Risk it, no biscuit.
Yeah, I think he's got a little more biscuit. Yeah, and a whole lot more risk it because, explosives down the field. Now, I'm not talking about everybody, 5 wide and everybody runs a streak route. But these guys are definitely catching passes further down the field and more explosive plays in the offense in the passing game. Baker has a great arm if you can protect him, and I think this offensive line has proven they can. It's only when he starts to run around and makes you nervous. But I think that Emeka has great speed. McMillan can get deep. Mike is deceptive with his speed because he's so long when he runs. I mean, you've got some guys, and I'm not just talking, like I said, just go routes, but you've got some guys that can, get off the ball and get down the field pretty good. And from what I've seen in practice, especially with Ibuka coming aboard, like they're throwing it down the field. Now, you work on stuff, you don't know what's going to happen against game plans and things like that. But it does seem it feels like very, very early that the young man from Lizard Lick, North Carolina, likes to throw some bombs once in a while, and which is great as long as you can protect Baker. You want to protect him and at all costs. But this will be on paper, and the game's not played on paper. But like, you keep everybody healthy, you get that offensive line back. You've got a great running game and really some depth at the running back position, depth at the receiver position. Tight end room has been together for 3 years now. Like, there's some really positive things, not the least of which is you scored almost 30 points a game. So anything kind of like close to that would be a godsend for them. And yeah, I mean, I believe that this is a pretty formidable offense and one that can score a lot of points, and if they can do it quickly, all the better. We'll just have to see. We got a lot of runway here before Josh Grizzard gets to the preseason, but you can bet that he has his own ideas. He was their third down passing game coordinator last year. Oh, by the way, I think they led the NFL in third down percentage, or near the top. I think over 52% conversion rate, which is astounding in the NFL. So he's already made his stripes, and he came up the hard way, and smart guy. Everybody seems to like him. We'll have a chance to talk to Baker Mayfield later today and see sort of what his relationship, how it's evolved with Josh. Well, I know he likes Josh. So, yeah, it should be interesting.
One note from last night's show, we talked about the Tampa Bay Sun having a chance to play for the USL Super League Championship this weekend.
How about that?
We forgot to congratulate the Tampa Spartans, who won their 10th national championship in back-to-back.
Joe Urso, baby.
Tampa Bay continues.
Tampa Bay's happening. You got UT baseball by Saturday night sometime. The Tampa Bay Sun of the United Soccer League could be crowned champions. They play Fort Lauderdale in the All Sunshine State Final. That's going to be here in Tampa, which is great. And so, yeah, I mean, if you got the Spartans, Tampa Spartans are national champions. Get another championship, perhaps with the Sun.
Yeah. The Rays are back in the playoff race and
Rays
in a
are
wild
4
card spot
back
at this
against the
point.
Yankees. Yeah, like all of a sudden, and then what if? And look, I have every expectation. It would be an enormous disappointment if this team goes out there and doesn't win the NFC South or doesn't advance beyond the first round. Like the expectations on this team, and there's assassins behind every door in terms of injuries. I get that. But the expectations for themselves is that we're going to get back to these playoffs and we're going to go well past the first round. We cannot stub our toe in the first round like we've done 2 of the last 3 years. And so that's the singular focus is like, how do we get there? Like, how do we push forward? Because we're so close that if we'd have played a little better against Washington and win that game, who knows? Who knows what happens when you're in a 1-game situation for a chance to go to the Super Bowl? So I think they're deeper. I like the draft class that they've had. They've got some good young defensive linemen. We mentioned the receivers, and it's got a lot of depth on the roster. So it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a good year, a fun year, and if the wheels fall off, that's something to write about too. But so far so good. 3 more days, and then it's a break, and that's when every GM gets nervous when he sees that somebody's calling him from somewhere because he doesn't know. We got to rank the GMs tomorrow night. That's what we need to do.
The guy from NBC Sports, I believe, had a ranking of GMs. So.
Oh, this one's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you believe Jason Light's a little too low.
I think he's just a little too low. And not that I dislike the guys above him, and I'm not trying to be a homer here, believe me, because Jason doesn't care where I rank him. But
Jason cares because he keeps receipts.
Yeah, as soon as I said that, I remembered that. As soon as I said that, I was thinking that's not true. I just lied to everybody on the podcast. Jason does care. He cares about everything, man. He reads everything. He saves everything. He went to the combine and called out somebody. I don't know, it was Ian O'Connor or somebody from Sports Illustrated about where they had him, winning just 3 games.
They call out Peter King for ranking him 31st out of 32 teams. The one.
He should have if he didn't. Yeah. Here's what I think. I think the Buccaneers are 31st. Yeah, and what? Jason keeps receipts, man. He's got that edge to him. He really does. I don't know if it helps, but he's got it. And these are professionals, so you got to put some respect behind their name. And he said, I hate the Saints, but I respect them. So there's that. But yeah, it should be fun out there. It's hot as heck, and there's going to be rain and just your typical southern summer pattern and things. But this is it. Get to see them put this together for 3 days, and then it's off to training camp after that, and you start preparing for the Atlanta Falcons just as soon as you hit the ground. I mean, that's the way it goes. All right, make sure you get down to Breitling Boutique, see our people down there. Check out the watches, the Chronomats and Navitimers, NFL team watches for all 32 teams while supplies last. That's important. Watches as well for your wife, your girlfriend. She's going to love it. It's Breitling Boutique, International Plaza Mall. Make sure you let them know you heard about it right here on Sports Day Tampa Bay. Thanks for listening. For Steve Versnick, I'm Rick Stroud of the Tampa Bay Times. Have a great day, everybody.